Get down 911. What's the location of your emergency?
Sandy Hook School. I think there's somebody shooting in here. Sandy Hook School.
One of the worst school shootings in our nation.
Virginia Tech.
Newtown.
29 dead.
26 who were killed. Children.
My brother.
My nephew.
Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. No more violence and gun violence.
I believe that guns shouldn't exist, but I see that it's basically almost impossible to get rid of them because politics and war and law enforcement.
I think gun violence affects people no matter what the situation is.
It's very important for me as a student to be part of this, to be part of a movement to save lives.
A lot of people go through it. A lot of people go through it differently, but it still makes an impact and effect on a lot of lives.
Person A took me home, and I guess he was a little mad when he saw Person B. Person B got out of the car, and my mother and my brother was there. Person A had loaded the gun, and then he put it right away in his pocket. I got so scared that I started crying, and I didn't know what to do. And yeah, somehow that affected me a lot.
When I was little in my hometown in Dominican Republic, there was this riot going on, and there was people shooting everywhere, and I had to hide in my house.
There's one time I was walking, and some random dude just pulled up to me and pointed at me with a gun. And then out of nowhere, he blew on his gun, like weird, trying to show off, like, whew, and he just kept on walking. Another time I got affected by gun violence was, too many times.
We all been through it, and it's not something that is easy to just forget.
I've been in this school for 13 years. And I've been to 13 funerals. I think a lot of students are going to grieve. They grieve death, but there's no support to help them, not just at Barringer, any school. There's not enough support to help them so that they can learn how to deal with any type of grief. I wish I could say no one should use guns. That's not the reality of it. But teaching kids about gun safety, how it affects not just one life. When someone gets killed by a gun, it affects a generation of people. It's not just gun violence, what causes gun violence. What goes along with it.
We experience day-to-day gun violence, mass shootings in a way that no other country in the world does. We have about 6 times as many homicides as those who live in Canada. Just to the north of us, roughly 16 times the amount of gun violence that we see in our counterparts in Europe, like Germany. So I think we should all be concerned about gun violence, but young people especially. I believe it's one of the leading causes of death for young people, but I also think that we can be the generation to finally fix this problem. I think, at least I'm inspired by the kids at Parkland who've stepped up in a huge way, galvanized the issue, breathed a lot of life into this idea that we don't have to live in a country that accepts a daily drumbeat of gun violence. People agree with us. People agree that we need to strengthen our gun laws by huge margins. I think 9 out of 10 Americans support background checks. A similar amount would agree we need to strengthen our gun laws. So I think the 2 biggest challenges there is 1, organizing, making sure that folks recognize their power, that they're getting out there working in their communities, and 2, making sure our elected officials recognize the level of support that this issue has. It needs to become the issue that we vote on, not just one of the many issues that we vote on. I think Students Demand Action, Moms Demand Action have set the model for what a grassroots campaign could look like and can do in this country. And they show up. They show up and knock doors. They show up and continually advocate on these issues. So I can't say enough good things about what they've become and what they've done these past 2 election cycles.
Students Demand Action is essentially an organization of students organizing to end gun violence in America. We organize on a municipal, state, and federal level. In February of 2018, the Parkland shooting, we saw the Parkland teens stand up and tell the rest of us to get on our feet and to advocate for a better, safer America for all of our peers. And that's not just limited to school shootings. Mass shootings are 0.42% of all gun deaths in America. 46% are actually suicides. The second leading cause of death for American teens is gun violence, and the first leading cause of death in black teens in America is gun violence. So we're not just a mass shooting organization. We started after Parkland, yes, but we encompass all the facets of gun violence. In Jersey City, on the south side of our city, we deal with gun violence every single day, but it often goes unreported, and there's a large media disparity. January 2019, this year actually, beginning of this year, my friends and I had to run for our lives when there was a shooting at our local mall.
Following breaking news at the Newport Center Mall, there has been a shooting. CBS New York's Valerie Castro is joining us from the scene right now. Valerie.
The shooter was 10 feet away from us. 3 shots were discharged, and it was just a lot. And what I learned from it was that I have to use my story. A lot of people don't have that privilege to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to stand up and fight for this. So it's my responsibility to get it done. I encourage students to stand up and to take the fight to the streets and to organize and make an impact, because we're a large voting group and our voices matter. And we're the ones going into schools. We're the ones who have to walk home. We're the ones who go into movie theaters, churches, and things like that. So our voices matter. And if we make a lot of noise, and if we capitalize on media coverage and spread facts and not misinformation like the NRA does, we're going to win every single time.
If we want this to stop, we need to fight for it. I want people to know and to realize really, really what is going on, and to know that we have to do something, like no more shootings. We have to take actions over this.
Sounds bad, but we have to change.
Say no to gun violence.
Hi, I'm Khaliyah, and I say put the guns down and put your hearts up. More learning, less hurting.
Go from the nerve to get on my turf. From mommy it hurts, to blood on my shirt. Graves in the dirt, violence be first. Don't even know where to go, is all murder. Offer a bargain, that's how they working. Money's the motive, wish we were older. Look at us now, we desperate. Guns in my hood, infested. Offer a drop top, girls with a crop top. All in my city, they murdering. Paranoid nights and off with the ice. Police brutality flourishing. Wish it could stop, am I asking a lot? I'm asking for peace, not for planes or a yacht. Stop showing me Glocks, I don't want what you got. This is a lesson we should have been taught.